Hey,
And
there we
we're
go.
live.
We are live. Hi, I'm Peter. And who are you?
Hi. Huh? What?
Who are you?
Who am I? That's a pretty big question, Peter.
What is your name?
I am Rachel.
Okay, that's good. We'll talk about, you know, existential questions later. So we're going to
Okay.
talk about Iron Man 2 and we're just going to jump right into it.
Sounds good.
Iron Man 2, made in 2010, directed by Jon Favreau. So it was 8 years ago.
hmm
A little over 8 years ago, because we're recording this on July 8th, 2018, and this was and Iron Man 2 came out in the theaters on May 7th, 2010, which is it's interesting to think about, like, the way they release these movies. Iron Man 2, or I'm sorry, Iron Man came out May 2nd, 2008. Incredible Hulk the very next month, June 13th, 2008. And then almost to the day they release Iron Man 2, 2 years from the original Iron Man date. They released Iron Man 2 May 7th, 2010. And in between, like, there were no Marvel Cinematic Universe movies made.
Which feels really weird to me now that there's like, I don't
Now
know,
that
like
we
10
have,
every year.
yeah, we have like one every 3 months. But what about the Spider-Man movies? Um, like, I wonder. I can't remember when Spider-Man 3 came out. Spider-Man. Let's see.
Spider-Man 3 came out 2007.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Um, and X-Men movies. When did those come out? 2003, 2006, 2009. So we still had some, like, Marvel properties, but that's not part of the MCU, because X-Men Origins Wolverine came out in 2009.
Right.
Um, yeah, so that would fit right in between. And then X-Men First Class comes out in 2011. Because also, what's weird is that Iron Man 2 is the only. It's not like they went 2 years and released two more movies. It went June 13th, 2008 for The Incredible Hulk, and then Iron Man 2 May 7th, 2010, and then Thor was, again, almost to the day, a year later, May 6th, 2011.
Okay.
Yeah, weird, right?
Hmm. Yeah, that is weird.
But then that's when our lives were forever changed, and now every, like, May 6th, 2011, Thor. July 22nd, 2011, Captain America. May 4th, 2012, Avengers. May 3rd, 2013. Oh, weird. Only the Avengers that was the only Marvel movie in 2012.
Hmm. Oh. Huh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as far as MCU goes. Okay,
Right.
anyway. So, and all these movies do well in the box office. Like, when it was released, first week earned 159 million. It was number one in the box office. That releasing that same week, Babies,
Babies.
Mother and Child,
hmm
Casino Jack and the United States of Money, Metropolis, which was a 2010 reissue. So Metropolis, that old black and white sci-fi film.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
The Oath, OSS 117 : Lost in Rio, Multiple Sarcasms, Happiness Runs, Carbon Nation. Yeah, so it's like,
I remember none of those movies.
yeah, I vaguely remember previews for Babies, but
What was
I don't know.
Babies about? Oh, The Hunger Games also came out in 2012.
Oh
No,
yeah,
wait.
like,
That was 2012, not 2010.
no, like 2010. There, like, some big things came out that year, like
Ooh,
Kick-Ass
Inception.
came out April 16th, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the week of the 16th. So I don't know exactly what day. Um,
Oh wow, yeah, Inception, The Social Network,
mhm. Yeah,
Toy Story 3.
How to Train Your Dragon came out that year too.
Oh yeah, there's some good
Um,
stuff. Despicable Me. It's an
I
important
don't.
film.
I should probably watch a Tyler Perry movie, but I have to admit I've
Uh,
never seen a Tyler Perry movie.
yeah.
Um, and maybe that's not surprising given my demographics of being like, just some nerdy white dude. But I should watch a Tyler Perry movie. Like it was number 3 in the box office when it got released. Why Did I Get Married Too? But
Hmm.
I don't know. I get the sense that his movies are just like kind of like weird comedies, and I don't know. Anyway, I should watch one regardless. Yeah. So it was a pretty big
Big year for
weekend for
movies.
movies, and or I
Yeah.
mean, summer for movies,
Hmm.
and yeah. So that's the box office. Um, oh, and Nightmare on Elm Street came out the week before. Yes, it
Okay.
came out the week before, and that was number 1 when it came out. I get the impression though that like horror movies, it's kind of like when they come out, they get number 1, but horror movies are not likely to last for a long time, being like number 1 in the box office. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. Am I right or am I wrong? What do you think?
I don't know.
I just get the impression like if you're a horror movie person, you're going to go see it, and because it's all about like scares and jumps and stuff, and then like you're probably not. I don't know. I'm not going to go back to the movies to see a horror movie. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
even really good ones. Like I liked Jordan Peele's horror movie Get Out. I liked that,
Yes.
but I don't really need to see it again. You know?
Yeah, I think, well, it's interesting, yeah, because the appeal of the horror movie is like going into the unknown, right? And so
Yeah.
once you've watched it, it takes away a big part of the appeal of that particular genre.
Yeah, but yes, but that's not very improv-y of me. It's supposed to be yes
Yes,
and
yes, but
yes, but
this is just contrary and improv.
yep, that's me. Like Alien and Aliens are very rewatchable, I think, but they have other things
Yeah.
going on with them.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily categorize them as straight horror though.
Hmm. Okay. Okay.
And
Right.
I think psychological thrill, well, I don't know. I don't know how to differentiate between movies that you want to see again in the box office or not.
Yeah. Yeah. Like. I feel like people want to go see these Marvel movies again. People want to go see Star Wars movies again. They're movies
Yeah.
that they're like, I gotta go. I want to go see that because I don't know, because they want to experience Iron Man blowing crap up yet again, or go with your other set of friends who really loves Iron Man also, and like, hurrah. Um,
Yeah, I think part of what it is that you get an emotional attachment to the movies.
mhm.
There's something about these movies that makes them like immediately nostalgic.
Mm. It-
Where
Say more
like
about that. What do you mean by nostalgic?
I mean like you watch it and then you think about like, oh, it was fun. Because none of the movies are like, oh wow, that changed my worldview. You know?
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
It's it's fun. It feels like the kind of movies you watch as a kid. As far as like adults who go back who might rewatch Iron Man. Like
Yeah.
kids want to rewatch fun movies all the time because they get an emotional attachment to a movie and then they want it then they're Iron Man, and so
Right.
when they're watching it, they're Iron Man.
Right,
Um
right. Yep.
and I
You do
think
that thing when you're a kid where you put the movie on, and if you have brothers or sisters or friends, you go, and you call out which characters you are.
yeah,
I'm Iron Man. Yeah.
here's Iron Man, tag yourself. Um
Right.
But I think it gives adults that feeling too, to a certain extent, not in the same way, but like that it's the same kind of fun you had watching movies as a kid, but they're enjoyable for adults too.
Hmm.
And so you want to go see them just because they're fun. They're fun, and nothing that bad is going to happen, you
Right.
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you might catch like a new joke, you might catch a new cool effect when you watch it. Like you might get more out of it the second time.
Yeah. I feel like people go rewatch these movies too, because it's like they want to be able to talk about them because but once they've reached the level that they're at now, where everybody in the world watches these things, it's like you want to be able to talk about them or at least know what people are talking about, you know? And for me, because I didn't want to pay money to go see Infinity War, because I don't care. I just listened to an in-depth recap podcast about it from Slate, and I
Really?
just went, "Yeah, I thought I told you that." Yeah, I listened to it the day after the movie came out because I was like, "I really want to know what people are talking about. I don't want to sit in those seats
Hmm.
because I I do things that a 39-year-old probably shouldn't be doing, and I messed up my back, and I don't like sitting in those seats."
That's
And
kind of a weird way to put it. Anyway,
well, it's
um,
true. I let
you do,
play this
you do.
sport where like they're like 15 years younger than me, and, like mess myself up. Anyway,
Anyway,
so yeah, and so I just listened to the recap podcast about it. Okay,
okay.
so but but here we are, and I'm rewatching Iron Man 2, which
Hmm.
at the beginning of the MCU, I enjoyed these movies far more than I do 8 years into this monstrosity. Right?
Yeah, it's funny. I wasn't super into Iron Man 2, but it these early movies really call out how kind of bloated like the new movies are.
Hmm.
There are a few of the newer Marvel movies, like we'll get into this later, but Thor Ragnarok, um,
Hmm.
I felt had just the right number of storylines going on,
Hmm.
and it was a lot more focused. Um,
It's right. Yeah.
but yeah, this one was like very, very simple. But too, like they hadn't really opened up that all that much yet
I,
for to be used.
yeah. The formula for like reading comics when I was a kid, and I think it's still similar now. Like the superhero formula of comics is like, you've got Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America. Those are all separate titles, right? So you can pick up Iron Man and read it, and it's got its
Hmm.
own through line. And same thing for Thor and Captain America. And
Hmm.
then maybe like twice a year. Maybe they might have increased the frequency now, but once maybe twice a year they'll have these huge like they'll have well, along the way they'll have small crossovers where like, oh, if you want to this is where Thor and Iron Man connect, so you got to like buy the next two issues of Thor, and if you're reading Thor, you got to buy the next two issues of Iron Man and combine them together, and then you can like complete the through line.
Hmm.
And then like once a year they'll have huge events, which like Infinity War in the comics was, I'm pretty sure it was one of those deals where like Infinity War crossed over so many Marvel comic titles. So if you wanted to know what was going on,
Hmm.
you had to buy 15 issues total or something, and it went from like Thor, Captain America, Quasar, or whoever, like,
Hmm.
and then you got to read them. If you're just like somebody who's like, I don't really care, and I just like Iron Man, you read through them, and then you get to this one weird comic that doesn't make any sense because you don't care about Infinity War, and you read through it, and you go, oh, okay, fine, or you go, oh, that's really interesting, and then you go read all of it, But those, I guess my point is like those huge crossover things, by nature, they can't go that in depth and they can't have that many like tangible storylines because you're throwing all of these things in there. And it was, from my perspective, as like a person who bought comics when he was like 12 or 13 or whatever, like those were never intended to be what comics are. Like that was one facet of what a comic book was. But like the rest of it was, I like this character and I want to see this character doing lots of things. So my point being, I think if we're using that analogy, I think what the MCU is doing is they're trying to make everything be those crossover events. And if you do that, by nature, you're going to get the movies that they're cranking out now, which is just which is just like not enough concentration on one character, not enough characterization, all plot, like 15 seconds, and you got to like move. You got to move on because you got all this plot to deal with. So, yeah, I think they need to like amp up the singular storylines more, and I would be a happier consumer of this mass-produced, weaponized entertainment.
Speaking of storylines,
should
we give the summary of Iron Man 2?
Do we need to give the summary? We were talking about that off camera.
Oh well, we were gonna like. I thought we were gonna like skim over it.
We could if you want.
Okay. I mean, I think I can sum it up in like 2 sentences.
I'll give you. It's like name that tune.
Oh,
sure.
Yeah. This is a good challenge. How many words can I use?
Yeah. So how many words? I'm not going to count the number of words.
Okay. Well,
how much time here on my Casio watch? Oh gosh. Okay. All right. Ready?
How long do I get?
I'm not telling you. I'm just timing you.
Okay.
Okay. It's like running a mile.
Okay.
I tell you when you're done.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
1, 2, 3.
All right. Iron Man gets cocky, fights a man with electric whips who makes a better Iron Man suit. This man is played by Mickey Rourke. He is Russian. He has a bird. Another guy owns a competing company who hires Mickey Rourke to make better Iron Man suits. Mickey Rourke hijacks all the new Iron Man suits to kill everybody, but Iron Man wins anyway. The end. I feel like that's all of it.
It's pretty good. 28 seconds.
All right.
Yeah, 28 seconds. Yeah, and it's got some good actors in it.
Because Don Cheadle, who I really enjoy.
Yeah, Don Cheadle.
Sam Rockwell is the one that owns the other company.
Man, Sam Rockwell is one of the most likable actors who plays his type of actor, I think.
Yes.
So good. I mean, like everything that he's, maybe not everything, but most of the movies that he's been in, he like stands out. He was in Green Mile. He played this crazy, gross, kind of serial killer, child killer person. And he was funny and disgusting and weird and good. And he was in
Galaxy Quest, the same year as the Green Mile.
Oh yeah, he was in Galaxy Quest. Maybe that's one that I would that he doesn't stand out for me on. But I'm not like in the Galaxy Quest camp. I know. I think there are people who are in the camp and people who are out of the camp, and there's very few like, oh, it's a decent movie. I'm not in the camp. I've tried to be, but I'm not.
I like doing Matchstick. I do. I love Galaxy Quest. It's it's ranked the like second best Star Trek movie.
Yeah, I should try watching it again. It's something about. I mean, you put Tim Allen in a movie, and it's hard for me to be like.
That's fair.
Gung ho about this. It's the same thing. It's the Russell Crowe effect too. Like I'm not gonna like a movie that Russell Crowe's in. Probably.
Really? I like Russell Crowe.
Oh man, that's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't stand him. Yeah, and I didn't see Matchstick Men, but I wanted to see that.
It's good. It's good. What else? Oh, he was in he was Zaphod Beeblebrox in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
I never saw that either.
I liked it okay. The
Mm-hmm.
books were such a big part of my childhood that the movies felt incomplete for me. And really rushed. I felt like you had to have read the books to really appreciate the movie. But I loved the characterizations, like the characters that they made. Like
Mm-hmm.
Sam Rockwell as Zaphod Beeblebrox with his two heads, and Bill
Interesting.
Nighy was Slarty Bartfast, and it's fun. It's a fun movie.
Yeah. And in this movie, he plays Justin Hammer, who is he's a private weapons manufacturer.
Yep.
Competing with Tony Stark, and like he's sort of slimy and
real cocky.
Yeah, super cocky and really good.
He's basically another Tony Stark without as much arrogance. Like he's arrogant, but he doesn't come across as arrogant as Tony Stark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like a down home Tony Stark. Just
I think he
neighborly.
I think he wants to be. I think the thing is he really wants to be as cool and as cocky as Tony Stark, and he just doesn't. You know, it's like when you have those managers or coaches or something that and they're just they're trying to be that way and they're not. You know?
like they say neat a lot.
Right. Bud.
Bud. Wanna rap. I said backwards on chairs.
Okay. Given that, would Ricky Gervais or the American actor guy from The Office who played the boss,
Steve Carell?
Yeah, would one of them that would be, one of them in that role would I think it would make it too funny. I think it would just make it way too funny. Or they could amp it up and play it really creepy. Because I've never seen Ricky Gervais play like demonic, you know?
Yeah.
But I bet that would be interesting, actually.
Or
like the scene, like picture that scene where he's taking the bird away from Ivan, what's his name? Mickey Rourke's character, you know, and he's taking all this stuff away. Picture Ricky Gervais doing that to him, and then like his weird laugh and stuff. Ugh, it'd be creepy.
Yeah, he'd go really creepy. Cause I think if someone like Steve Carell played it, he'd just be like that super like intense look that he does.
Well, yeah, but yeah, and Steve Carell does serious stuff now.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So Sam Rockwell, really good in this. Gwyneth Paltrow reprises her role as Pepper Potts. Robert Downey Jr. is still Iron Man. He might be Iron Man for the rest of his life. Robert Downey Jr. I don't know. We'll see if he can do anything else after this. Don Cheadle, like we said, is Rhodey.
Yeah,
and
his replacement.
The weirdest hole to go down is to try and figure out why Terrence Howard was not in this movie. And he says one thing, and like Marvel, it's such a pointless exercise. Like, I don't really care, but it's so weird, the little back and forth, because like Terrence Howard said that he wasn't going to get paid enough money. That was one of the first things he said, and that they basically took the job away from him because he signed a one-way contract. Like, the contract basically did nothing for him. It was like, oh, I'll sign this contract that says you'll let me be in your movies, but only if you want to. And then, like, there's other things that say he was the first person cast in Iron Man 2, and therefore got paid like was going to be paid like a substantial amount of money. So, and then, like we discussed before, like Terrence Howard goes on to get his PhD or something like that. It's so weird. Anyway, they they're both fine in the role,
Hmm.
and I think if I am saying it like that, I don't think it's the fault of either actor. I think they need to give Rhodey more to do and give him more personality because he doesn't really have a personality.
Right.
Yeah,
He's
he's just kind of there.
he's a friend for Iron Man to have in the military, and like
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah. I would like, I keep saying this is like a refrain in this series that we do. It needs to be more comic booky. Like
Yeah.
give him something, you
Well,
know?
and what it's something that just occurred to me is that while I actually like Don Cheadle better as an actor, just overall, I really like Don Cheadle. Like
Mhm.
Terrence Howard's fine.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I miss I feel like Don Cheadle didn't bring as much exasperation to the role. Like Terrence Howard was always like so exasperated
Yeah.
with Iron Man.
I mean, Don Cheadle plays stoic really well.
Yeah.
He was in Hotel Rwanda, right? Pretty
I
sure it
think
was.
so.
Yeah. And like really good handling like heavy stuff like that. I'm pretty sure he was. Maybe not. Who was that? Who am I thinking of?
Yeah, he was in Hotel Rwanda.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, he handles heavy content like that really well, and he plays like the straight man in a comedy thing really well too. The
Yeah.
I think maybe I'm thinking about like um skits from SNL or something. I can't remember where I've seen him play funny like that, but I've definitely have seen it, and he's pretty funny. So yeah, I don't know. I just want them to do more with Rhodey. Feel bad for the way he's written in this movie. Um, yeah, Gwyneth Paltrow's still Pepper Potts, and it's cool that they made her CEO. But like again, like I don't know. What did you think about her in this movie?
I feel like Pepper's only like personality characteristic is just flailing. Like I feel like she could have been replaced by one of those things at like car lots, and it would have been the same movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Pepper Potts, and it makes me a little sad that she doesn't do more. But Tony, like this is
Yeah. Some of their
can't
banter
get
is
into a
pretty.
relationship and try to change a person. Like this is not,
Yeah. Some of their banter is pretty good. Like
yeah.
I kind of liked the after she becomes CEO and he walks into her office with the strawberries. Like that whole bit
Oh,
was pretty funny, but also
yeah.
kind of gross in a way. Where
Yeah,
he
like
where he gives her the strawberries and she goes, "The one thing I'm allergic to, and you brought strawberries." And his like fumbling stupid answer was, "I knew there was a correlation with strawberries, but I just couldn't remember what it was or something."
yeah, just like, "Hey, Pepper, keep her barb real low."
Yeah. I'm That's the problem with Tony Stark as a character, right? And I think this shows sort of how this movie has not aged that well
Mhm.
because the Me Too movement did not happen in 2010. It
Right.
happened 2017, 2018, or whatever, whenever it
Mhm.
started. And Tony's sort of like funny, I forget things. I'm this like suave guy who kind of sleeps around, but I'm mending my ways. Like that whole shtick
Mhm.
reads really differently to me now.
Yeah. Yeah, like, there's a scene, in the very beginning when, he's doing that, like there's that expo at the beginning,
Yeah.
um, where he was like, oh, what does he say? He says, something about how, like, uh, "I doubt there's anyone, like, man enough to beat me."
Mm-hmm.
And then he has like all these women with Iron Man like bikinis or whatever come dance behind
Oh,
him.
right.
And so then I was like, I don't like this.
Yeah.
And at the time, it was just like, oh, look, he's such a playboy.
Right.
It's
Which
funny.
he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like it, and that whole thing is that way. Um, yeah. Yeah.
And it
I
read
made a
as
note of
weird to
that
me.
thing too, and I didn't like it's it just plays differently. It plays differently now.
'Cause I think if that scene had been made now, like there may have still been like female dancers, but I feel like they all would have been in things that looked more like Iron Man suits or
Mm-hmm.
something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. The part of this too, like as I was watching this, and I keep thinking about how, like, it keeps saying, like, everybody goes to see these movies
Yeah.
in an age when I feel like we very much have it, Fox News watchers and like C-SPAN watchers, or like New York Times readers and like I don't know what's on the other side, InfoWars readers or something. I don't know
Right.
what newspaper they like. Wall Street Journal, maybe, I guess. Um, and th- these movies they have to be available to both sets of people, right? Because
Right.
if they will lose money if they alienate one half of those, right?
Right.
So I keep so as I'm rewatching these things, I keep sort of looking for stuff like that,
Hmm.
and this shows my own bias, but that whole scene of like the rich dude in front of a whole bunch of like rocketeers, basically,
Rockets.
Rockettes, Rocketeers, for that's a different point I'm going to make. Yeah, the Rockettes is like, I don't know, it's a super like creepy conservative, super conservative dude
Hmm.
thing to
Hmm.
like.
Sure.
Um, yeah, there was that bit. There was the showing Bill O'Reilly in kind of a funny light, but it wasn't like taking a jab at Bill O'Reilly. And
Hmm.
also the fact that he's on the screen in Pepper Potts's office means she's watching Bill O'Reilly on something.
Yeah.
Like, it means Pepper
Yeah.
Potts watches a show. I'd have to go back and look at it. I don't know if it was the O'Reilly factor, but it definitely seemed like vaguely Fox Newsy to me. What do you think?
I don't remember that scene. Like,
Oh,
because I could
yeah.
see her just watching stuff about that anything that talks about is he talking about Iron Man or is he just talking?
He's talking about Tony Stark.
Okay.
I'm
So
pretty sure.
I could see her watching like any news about Tony Stark
Hmm.
just to like keep on top of stuff.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Um
Yeah.
yeah. I just googled Bill O'Reilly Iron Man 2. Oh, this is really great. Why does Bill O'Reilly play himself as a geek villain in Iron Man 2?
That's an article, or is that just a
Yeah.
comment?
Yeah, it's
Oh
an
boy.
article.
Yeah, that might be worth checking out. What a yeah. Anyway, yeah, I think there's these little signals all over the place in these movies to like guide each one of us ideologically into this movie and be like, it's okay, it's all right.
Hmm.
Look, a female's a CEO. Democrats.
They're just
She
throwing
wears
pepper pots at us to keep us happy.
She wears pantsuits.
Like, you guys like pantsuits, right?
Eh? Eh? Oh God! But okay, but what about at the same time? the woman wearing a pantsuit is watching Bill O'Reilly. Republicans, it's like you're each grabbing onto these token things and like
Oh,
being like,
well,
it's okay.
right. See, they did the thing. They did the thing that we like. So I think part of what she's talking about is they are in fact talking about her.
Oh yeah.
Says
Yeah,
this is irresponsible. Miss Potts is doing nothing to manage the situation. She's a pinhead.
Yeah, that would make sense. Like somebody tells her that it's on and she turns the channel on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to like I think a way to destroy a comic book movie is to sort of put too much logic into it, but
yeah.
But yeah, that would make sense. That totally makes sense. Sorry, I didn't mean to dismiss your point. Like that's a totally valid point.
Yeah. But I'm just it actually doesn't matter why she's watching it. But sorry, I got distracted. This article is really interesting.
All right.
I'll send it to you later.
Okay. Yeah. So some of my random notes from up to this point, I say Jon Favreau really likes scenes of dudes building things, and because we get Mickey Rourke building things and like basically recreating those scenes from Iron Man, the first movie, where Tony Stark is banging away on stuff, and the thing is, like, I'm not knocking that, like, as a montage thing to do, like, it was pretty good.
I like people building like science stuff in movies.
Yeah, and like sparks flying, and you got goggles on, and like banging on blacksmithy things. It's like, like let's ride this montage out a little bit. Looks pretty good. Pretty good. It's funny how in Iron Man the music that they use most, the music that stands out to me the most are these AC/DC songs. Like they included at like the highest emotional points of the movie. It's like Back in Black or like Highway to Hell is at the end. And like Iron Man, the song was played in the first movie at some point, but it wasn't played in this movie at all. And Iron Man, the song, is by Black Sabbath. So I would think you would maybe play a little bit more Black Sabbath in an Iron Man movie. Maybe work your way into Iron Man. Like don't play it right away, but like there's a Black Sabbath song called War Pigs, which would go really well with the whole theme.
Yeah, that would be really fitting.
Yeah, and maybe it doesn't have the same punch because Black Sabbath was kind of drony sometimes. It was a little more plodding. But yeah, anyway. Now like Iron Man is associated with AC/DC in my head.
Yeah. It's funny. I hadn't paid a lot of attention to the music.
Yeah, the like most rock type songs in the movie, like the thing that closes the movie is an AC/DC song, and like when he's, I think it's right at the expo thing when he's flying in, like that's an AC/DC song. So it's at these like, yeah, go get 'em Iron Man moments where they like crank up the AC/DC. Yeah. Cool. Let's see. And I think another is him talking about donating his art collection to the Boy Scouts. Is that another Republican signaling?
I don't think so. Not necessarily.
No, you don't. What do you think of when you think of Boy Scouts?
Oh, well, I guess. Oh, yeah. So I don't think at the time, maybe there was, and I just wasn't aware of it. I don't know if at the time there was as much discussion about the politics of Boy Scouts. But they are like a vaguely like Christian group, aren't they?
And they're
like anti-gay. Or they didn't allow like gay group leaders or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like there's something about them. I don't know too much about them, but yeah, they wouldn't allow. I don't remember all of it, but like I don't think they would allow gay Boy Scouts, or they wouldn't allow gay scout leaders, and they wouldn't allow trans.
Hmm.
It's always been sort of this like conservative thing, I think. And like I remember Donald Trump would like went to the Boy Scouts assembly, and he made a point of saying how Barack Obama didn't go. Um, you
Hmm.
know. Anyway, just a little thought. Um, did you like this movie? Did you like this movie, Rachel?
I liked it okay. I liked it more than The Incredible Hulk,
Yeah, me too.
but it's maybe my least favorite Iron Man movie.
Mm. And you're including the third one?
I am.
Oh, okay. Huh. I can't. I think I liked this one better than the third one, but I'll re-solidify that once we watch the third one. Um, yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I like Mickey Rourke as a villain. I hate when they cast an American to play a Russian dude, especially a Russian dude who doesn't have like just cast a mean looking Russian guy in this role. It's not like there's lots of like exposition that needs to go on. He doesn't need to do anything other than like look mean and be Russian.
Hmm. Um, oh, speaking of Russians, the one thing we haven't talked about is we also meet Black Widow in
Oh,
this
right.
movie.
Yeah. What did you think about that? How did you think like before we find out that she's Black Widow, what did you think?
Um, I like Scarlett Johansson in this role. I like all the little like clues that they leave, like they're not really little clues, but like the scene where he is in the ring and he's learning like mixed martial arts or something, and then he
Mhm.
takes a break and tells her to get in the ring, and she
Mhm.
like destroys the guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Why did he why did he tell his just new administrative assistant to go in the ring and get punched?
Yeah, or like learn how to punch. That felt really weird to me. It felt like along the same somehow it felt like along the same like weird sexist
Yeah. Yeah. I
vibes,
did
like
I did
to show her up, to like make her it felt like it was to embarrass her.
Yeah, like,
And
"Oh,
I
this is gonna be cute to put this girl in a ring with
this tough
this, like,
dude.
dude, and, oh, haha, you're, like, here you are, a nerdy, administrative assistant." Like, yeah, I didn't like that, but then again, she kicks his ass, so
Right. It was a way to like give hints to who she was. The
yeah.
one thing that I did that I found too distracting about her character, and some of it's not her fault, it's just it was a really popular hairstyle at the time. Those like incredibly defined ringlets drove me
You
nuts for the whole movie.
I 0% noticed that at all, but I
Right.
trust I trust your I trust your judgment on
It
that.
was very 2010 hair is what it was.
Okay.
Stuff that I pay attention to.
Yeah,
It's
no,
just especially with female heroes.
mhm.
I should say heroes with long hair are always fighting with their hair flying around in their face, and it drives me bonkers.
Yeah,
I hate
right,
it
right.
because like it happens so that all the shots, their hair is never in their face. But how are you flipping around and
Mhm,
doing anything that involves any kind of action?
mhm. Can I offer a counter argument to that?
Hmm. Sure.
Um, it's not as common in roller derby now, but, like, in the earlier days of, like, this revitalization of roller derby, a lot of roller derby players would have super long hair, and it would be purposefully, like, out, you
Yeah.
know? And, like, on Glow, right? Like
Hmm.
the hair is like they're wrestling, but they're also putting on a show.
Yeah,
But
there's a certain level of spectacle with both wrestling and roller derby, I would say.
I think the reason I'm pointing those out is because both of those things were designed by, like, the women are designing their own like spectacle, right? I mean, I guess you could pick that apart, but so I don't know. I guess I'm saying, like, I'm okay with it. It doesn't feel, yes, it feels completely impractical. Like,
I
like,
just
yeah, you don't want stuff flapping around. You don't
and
want,
she's wearing makeup. It's gonna stick to her lipstick. It's gonna stick, or lip gloss, or whatever she's wearing. It's just,
right.
it's not.
You're right. Yeah.
She's gonna be spitting hair out of her mouth
Hmm.
while she's trying to shoot people. I
Right.
mean, you could argue that her physical senses are so finely honed that she can move in such a way that her hair is never in her face.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Maybe that'll be my theory. Just because, like, she's so incredibly aware of her body and how she moves. Plus, with those ringlets, that's a lot of hairspray and product. So
I
it
think
might be physically impossible for it to move in front of her face.
I think intimidation it would be a large part of it. Like, if you just present yourself as this, like, over, like, that's what I think about superheroes, is like a lot of it is just how
Mhm.
much confidence can you exude,
Right.
and, like, to me, being this as badass as she is and, like, fighting all these people with, like, this hair flowing all over the place, it's like she is very confident in her abilities, and I'm just going to give her the secret plans because I don't want to deal with this right now.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
anyway, go on.
oh, no, no, no. I'm cutting you off. Go ahead.
Um, yeah, I liked her in this role. I currently have some issues with Scarlett Johansson as an actress and a human, but
Mm. What are the issues that you currently have?
she's going to be playing a trans man in a coming up movie, and she recently played a character that was traditionally Asian in Ghost in the Shell.
Did she? Oh, that's right. I forgot about her Ghost in the Shell stuff. And
She's
that's
just
really a trans man? That's
a trans man that
weird.
she looks nothing like.
That's just weird. Yeah, like,
And it
there's.
there's there are trans actors, and it makes me really upset. It's just, and I'm wondering, like, who her agents are at this point that are
Mhm.
like, no, 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 you should do all these things that will make everybody hate you. It'll be fine.
Yeah,
You're Scarlett
yeah.
Johansson.
Well, and, like, again, and again, I hate to think about. I feel like the world, and especially, like, American ideology, really is polarized at this point. Like,
Hmm.
I feel like a movie about a trans man. I don't picture a lot of conservatives going to see that movie, but I could be wrong, right? Maybe
Right.
some, not definitely, like, if they're at a 100 on the conservative level, I don't think they're going to see that movie.
No,
I'm just,
it's yeah, it's about a trans man who is a mobster who owned a series of brothels disguised as massage parlors.
oh, oh.
Yeah,
So maybe it is trying to. I don't know who the
I don't
audience
know.
for that would be.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it
Oh,
sounds like an interesting story, but she's just she's a stupid choice for the role,
yeah.
and just on a lot of levels.
Yeah, and
But
the Ghost in the Shell thing. Ugh. Yeah, I didn't watch that movie because of that. I was just like, I can't
like,
do this.
Scarlett Johansson's agent, stop doing this.
Well,
Like, there are a lot of different kind of roles you could be getting her.
it's the whole, like, Iron Fist.
Yeah,
What is that called? Is it just called Iron Fist?
yeah,
Yeah, like that whole thing and the Doctor Strange thing. It's just
yep,
like, I watched Doctor Strange, and yeah, we'll get to that. We'll
yeah.
get to that in 3
We'll have
years.
a lot to talk about there.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing I didn't really enjoy, I guess maybe, again, it's just, like, playing up of, like, the playboy aspect of Tony Stark,
Hmm.
and just seemed kind of gross. Like, he's flirting with her at the beginning, and like he's making jokes to Pepper about if he can like have her, or remember there was like a line where
Yeah.
it's like, can I keep her or something?
Yeah. Like
And and again, it's like I get it, like you're trying to show him being this like
Cavalier.
yeah, who will eventually sort of mend his ways and come around, right? um why does Pepper like him? I
Right?
think that's another problem. Is like why does she like him? Like
Yeah.
even at the end when he saves her, she's on the point of an emotional breakdown where she's like, I cannot do this anymore. You're stressing me out. I don't know what's happening. You're going to hurt yourself, you know? And then he kisses her.
Yeah, kissing is like solutions to arguments is real bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens all the time in movies, but
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
like bad
Real life.
relationship technique.
Yeah, real life, I don't see that going over well.
Um,
Yeah.
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 Um, I wish there was more about I mean, like we get to know Black Widow a little bit more in later movies.
Mhm.
I actually like this just like little sort of preview about her as a
Mhm.
supplementary. Like I don't mind her being a supplementary character in this because it's sort of like easing into the to Shield at large, you know.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, yeah. I didn't mind her as a supplementary character. And I like I like Scarlett Johansson. Like I like her. She has she's like an appealing actress
Hmm.
despite all of these things, like everything we just said I don't care for, and yet like well yeah, like she's got charisma as this character for sure.
Yeah.
But again, like why are we just get a Russian actress. You can get a Russian actress. You can get a Russian guy to but I suppose it's like, well, where's the star power there? That would be like a different movie. It'd be some like weird indie movie. I think that's what I want is like a bunch of nobodies. I
Yeah.
want I want an indie comic book movie. That's what I want.
Yes.
that's
Speaking of
that's what I want.
speaking of nobody, so the kid that he saves, you know, there's a kid wearing the Iron Man mask and one of the like rogue
Yes.
uh
Yes.
drone Iron Mans
Yes.
goes to attack him.
Yes.
Also, Iron Man took a sweet time saving that kid. But um that kid later went on to play Peter Parker
Oh,
in the
that's the new Spider-Man?
that's the new Spider-Man.
Oh, that's great. That was actually that might have been my favorite part of the entire movie.
When
Was
the kid
that
like
little
holds up his hand.
yeah, superheroes interacting with kids is like these are movies made for them, right?
Yeah.
And it's like you want to show these kids that they can be heroic, and like him blasting the guy but the kid thinking he did it and he
Yeah.
says nice shot kid. That's great.
I
That's like
love
in
that
the
stuff.
yeah, yeah, it's so good. It's so good. There's not enough of those scaled down moments. There's somebody that made like a very good argument about the first Superman movie. I don't think you seen that? The one with Christopher Reeve?
Oh, it's been a really long time.
Somebody made an argument that like one of the best moments in superhero movies ever is when he saves Lois from um like he rips the door off of the car and saves Lois out of the
Mhm.
car. And like that's one of the greatest superhero moments ever. And I think it's just little moments like that that they need to include in these movies, and it would make these guys feel like actually heroic, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah. And and I think too, like they tease us with things that I think would like they need to lean heavily into the heroes getting hurt. And they almost did that with Iron Man, where like he was getting like the disease crawling up his neck and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I, there's a lot of people that argue that Die Hard is the best action movie ever made, and one of the reasons that they say that is because throughout the movie, Bruce Willis's character is physically affected one thing after another, after another, after another,
Mm-hmm.
and it shows on him. He goes from like having like clothes to like he's in a tank top and he's getting all bloodied and shot and his feet are all torn up, and then like by the end of the movie he's just like beat to hell, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that makes these action movies feel more impacting when you see what they've been through.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think they should have leaned into some of that stuff with Iron Man. Like really, these people are like surrogates for our struggles as humans, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we kind of want to beat them up as much as we possibly can.
And then see them like pull out of it.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Or live with it in a heroic sort of way.
right.
Yeah.
Because yeah, it's just like a series of like near misses.
Yeah.
Or like
Yeah.
a series of like quick escapes, you know, like they're entirely surrounded by all of these drones.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, "Oh no, but we can get away." And then they're fine.
Yeah, and then they're fine. And so it makes the danger not feel as dangerous, and it makes the heroes not feel that powerful.
Right. I did like I mean, it wasn't like a surprise betrayal, but I really did like this guy hires Mickey Rourke.
Mm-hmm.
Not Ivan. He hires Mickey Rourke. um
Right.
um who and feels like he's in control because he's trying so hard to be on the level with Iron Man that he thinks he's as powerful, he thinks he's um as in control, and that anybody will do what he says.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're like, clearly, we get this guy out of prison. He's going to be real grateful and he's going to do whatever I want. But he doesn't. He does his own thing anyway and just like completely disregards, like, does not see him as any kind of threat.
No, he was totally just using the guy the entire time. That was pretty good. I liked that.
Where's my bird? Yeah.
Oh yeah, and you put you put a supervillain who's doing things villainously because of an animal. Like I'm on that guy's side all the time.
Yeah. I had kept hoping that the bird was going to be like this special bird, like he had trained it to do something.
Oh really?
Yeah, because he
Huh.
keeps like talking about a bird and then he's like, that's not my bird.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, maybe his bird has like a secret code like tattooed on its leg or something, and he needs that code. Whatever, you know.
I like it just being a regular bird.
Yeah.
I like it just being like he loves his pet.
Yeah.
Like to me
Yeah, that's
a little more idiosyncratic or something.
I like that too. I mean I just kept like expecting like, okay, what is it about the bird?
Right.
Like looking for something like, oh no, he just likes his bird. Okay, that's it. Cool.
See, I that leads me that made me think of something else I thought. Like I think these movies need to fake us out more because there's always these like little flags that we're used to in these movies. Like you're
Mhm.
saying, they're talking about this bird. We're used to being in these movies. There's like a code tattooed on the bird, like you said, right? Like
Right.
we keep looking for these signposts when we watch these movies because we have 30 years of watching movies like this, and we're waiting for that stuff to happen. And what I really like is when movies are self-aware and then they direct you. They lead you up to, oh, I bet the bird, like maybe they even
Mhm.
talk about the code that the bird has or something. And then it's just
Mhm.
a complete like veering off and they do something else with it, you know?
Right.
Um, I wish these movies did more stuff like that. Like when they pulled that guy in the prison cell and he looks under the mashed potatoes and sees the time bomb or whatever.
Mhm.
I don't need. I know what happens. Like, you put that time bomb in there. You don't need to. I can play out the rest of the scene in my head. He's going to put the bomb on the thing and explode the door. But I think what would be funnier, or not, maybe not funnier, but more interesting, is to like misdirect a little bit. Like, the time bomb is there. Okay, like, you give a prisoner a time bomb. What's going to happen? He's going to blow the door up, right? Well, what if he didn't blow the door up and instead, just like the time bomb's sitting there, the guy, that new prisoner guy, maybe comes in and he does something like it's just a complete misdirect and they don't use the bomb at all. And he gets out by, like, I don't know, picking the lock with the guy's teeth or something, you know?
Right.
Just some, we know what the form is. Just put in a little bit more work and misdirect us a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And it would still be, it would add that much more to these movies, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, Quentin Tarantino is really good at doing that. I just rewatched the Kill Bill movies,
I love
and
those movies.
they're so good. And like, again, he beats the crap out of Uma Thurman, and that makes us like really attached to her the whole time.
Yeah. Uma Thurman walking covered in dirt, that like weird, like janky stompy walk that she does into the diner is like
so good.
Movie.
Yeah, we're like, and he knows how to draw out those scenes. He's not in like a hurry to get to the next one. It's like these drawn out moments where we're really like cringing and we're like, oh gosh, I hope she gets out. Of course she gets out. She's the hero of the movie. But
right.
But still, we're like, oh, what if she doesn't? Yeah, and then he misdirects a lot. Like, when she's arguing with Vivica Fox in the first one, and they're talking about this showdown that's going to happen. The showdown's going to happen at the playground at midnight or wherever it is, And then, if it were a lesser movie, it would cut to then, and then we would see that scene play out. But that completely gets abandoned, and that's when Vivica Fox has the gun in the cereal box.
Right.
Yeah. So.
More guns and cereal boxes is what I mean.
Yeah. That was real good. Mickey Rourke did have, I think, the best line in the movie, where he was talking about when Tony Stark was talking to him in the prison cell, and he was saying the bit about like, you think that I've failed, but really I've succeeded, because it doesn't matter if I fail now that I've shown people that, like, I've drawn blood from you. It's like blood in the water, and now all the sharks are going to come because they can see that, like, you're vulnerable. Like, I really like that. I really dig kind of obtuse super villainy talk to the hero like that.
Yeah.
Like, the more analogies, the more like weird analogies that there are, the better it is.
Yeah, I like that too. And I think that's a really good lead up to Iron Man 3.
Is it? I don't remember. I don't remember anything about Iron Man 3, to be honest with you. I remember that they. Yeah. It'll be fun watching it again, because I don't really remember it.
Just trying to find it, see if I could find the exact line, but it's not on here.
What else? What else do I have?
Oh, here it is. Here's the line. Ivan is talking about his father. My father's the reason you're alive. Tony says, no, the reason I'm alive is because you made a shot and you missed. And Ivan says, if you could make God bleed, people would cease to believe in him. There will be blood in the water. The sharks will come. All I have to do is sit back and watch as the world consumes you.
Yeah, that was pretty good. That's pretty good.
And that's a very good line. Yeah.
Yeah. They continued. I'm just reading over my notes more here. Like, they continued with the joke of calling Stan Lee somebody else, because remember in the first Iron Man they called him Hef, like Hugh Hefner.
Oh yeah.
And then in this one they called him Larry King. So that was pretty good.
That's cute.
Oh, and this probably fit in better with our Scarlett Johansson and Pepper Potts talk, but this movie does not pass the Bechdel test that I could tell.
It
Right?
does not.
There are two females talking to each other about something other than a man, and they both have names in the movie. That
Well,
never.
wait. There might be a scene where they're. Well, I guess they are talking about Tony related stuff.
Yep.
I was gonna say maybe they'd be like discussing the company.
No, it doesn't happen.
No.
Nope. Let's see, what else? What else do I have? You have anything else? What do you think? Oh, I do have an addendum, but it's not related directly to the movie, so I can save it.
You should go ahead. I can't think of anything else that I want to talk about this movie.
Okay.
Oh, wait.
Go ahead.
One more thing. Apparently Mickey Rourke found the most challenging part about playing Whiplash was pretending to know his way around a computer.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was kind of funny.
I read also that he like did a bunch of research as far as like what Russian prison tattoos were like, and he paid for his own gold teeth. Just stuff like that. There there was one other thing.
Actually I found, so I just Googled Iron Man 2 Bechdel test. There is a brief moment where they talk about Stark Enterprises. And that's specifically about Tony Stark.
Oh, okay. So
technically I don't feel good about it. Yeah. About giving it a pass.
Yeah, that's. I mean, and Stark Enterprises is named for Tony Stark.
Right.
Oh, I liked the actor who plays Roger Sterling on Mad Men. I liked him as Tony's dad.
Yes, that felt like a really, really good choice.
Yeah, and I don't know if this was I'm assuming this was an intentional nod to the comic books, but like the way they made him look, that is the way Tony Stark looked in the comic books. Like to make him okay for the 2010s and 2008 or whatever, they gave him the goatee, but historically Tony Stark just has a mustache. Like that's what he looked like, was Tony Stark's dad. And I think I can just picture like that design meeting. Do we just give him a mustache? Maybe we can not have him have a mustache. No, he's got to have some kind of mustache. I know, we'll give him like kind of a goatee thing. Yeah. If they cast Josh Brolin as Tony Stark, then he could get away with just having a mustache.
Right. Yeah. I think Tony Stark's look fits for now.
Yeah. Unless it were Josh Brolin, then I think I think he gets away with just having the mustache. Yeah. Okay. Well. Oh, and it's great that Samuel L. Jackson, who we haven't mentioned yet, has way more speaking in this. Oh, and actually, that's what I was thinking of. He has a line that seems so out of place. He's talking to Tony, and he's telling him to like when he drops off the box that has all the footage from his dad or whatever, and he says to him that his dad really believed in him, et cetera, and only Tony can solve the riddle of his heart. And no joke was made. It's like, only you can solve the riddle of your heart. It was just a very weird line, and it was very weird to hear it coming from Samuel L. Jackson. Yeah. And it was very weird for it to be in a comic book.
Yeah. That reminds me, that's something we didn't talk about at all, is that this is the movie where Tony like fixes his arc reactor.
Oh yeah,
it stops like poisoning his body.
Yeah, he fixes it with some new laser hand wavy thing, and like and he gets a square, or I mean he gets a triangle instead of a circle on his chest.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really enjoy that whole like, oh, the map is an atom map or whatever. It just seemed like
Yeah,
uh,
it
it made
seemed out
me
of character, or like out of not out of character, but it just
it didn't land for me.
yeah.
I enjoyed like I'm saying all these things that I dislike about this movie,
Hmm.
but like I kind of like Mickey Rourke. I like them casting all of these like funny people in these movies. Like Mickey
Hmm.
Rourke's not a comedian, but like Sam Rockwell is really funny,
Yeah.
and John Favreau is really funny, and Robert Downey Jr. is really funny. I like. I think the MCU when they started making these movies cracked a certain kind of code, and we're like, oh yeah, we need funny people in action movies. And
Right.
I think a lot of these movies are lacking funny people. You know, it's like
Yes.
going way too grim, way too serious, and there's not. Yeah, that element I think MCU does really well with.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, I don't know. It was pretty good. Three
It's all right.
stars, 2.5 stars, 3 stars, something like that.
Yeah, I'd give it 2.5 stars.
Yeah, I don't think I need to watch it again.
No, I have no real desire to watch it again.
Can I tell you what my ancillary thought was?
Yeah.
I so I'm trying to not use Amazon for things,
Hmm.
but that's how I watched this movie was I rented it on Amazon for like $4 or whatever
Hmm.
because it streams to my TV and Apple I don't have Apple TV so Apple doesn't stream to my TV
Hmm.
and like I hate dealing with iTunes because the interface sucks I think and like I these movies just put me in this moral quandary like I don't want to give my money to Jeff Bezos or whatever. I
Yeah.
don't particularly want to support the monopolization of our media culture by these movies. It's but I like comic books. I like watching crazy over the top like special effects and stuff. Um
Hmm.
and then I've been listening to a lot of Freakonomics lately and like you know that book and podcast Freakonomics.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what those guys would say about individual monetary choices would they would say it doesn't really matter that much. Like they would say me choosing to not rent something from Amazon or choosing to rent something from Amazon, it doesn't matter. You know? Like
Hmm.
grand scheme of things, I think I'm making some kind of statement, but nobody's paying attention and it doesn't matter anyway. Like I'm not going to make the Amazon machine grind to a halt because I didn't rent from them, you know?
Hmm.
Um
Next
so
time we
it's
could always rent it from Google, from YouTube.
oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, I could do that. I'll try that next time. Yeah, so I don't know what do you think about like moral consumerism, you know? What do you think?
Yeah, that's something I think a lot about, especially with like all the stuff coming up now about all these different actors, which is like a
Mhm.
different side of things. Like, do I want to give my money to this actor or this director or whatever by supporting this movie?
Mhm.
Um,
But you know, sorry for my large gulping there. Drinking
sorry.
some water. But you know that like your $4 does not matter. Like
Right.
it
It's,
like grand scheme of things, you yourself giving this $4 does not matter.
but I will
It,
say that for me, it's important socially.
hmm
Like, I know that it might not necessarily make a difference to the people receiving the money, like buying something on Amazon or not, or
hmm
whatever. And I mean, to be honest, I still sometimes buy stuff on Amazon because
Yeah, it's the easiest way to get
it's so
stuff.
easy.
Well, and
um,
yeah, like I think that's. I think that's the trouble with sort of like some moral consumerism stuff, is because like I would have arguments with friends like when I lived in Florida, they would sort of like get upset with people who shopped at Walmart or whatever. And I'd be like, "Will you look at where Walmart is? Like that is the only place that people can get groceries in that neighborhood." So,
Right.
um also it's cheap,
Mhm.
and we all don't have a whole lot of expendable income, you know?
Right, to go travel to get groceries at a different place or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, like, there's an Onion article that's, like, it's sort of related where it's like, um, a single parent of 5 doesn't have time to watch, the organic food movement documentary, you know?
Right, yeah.
And then, the quote is, like, her saying, "Oh, I'm sure it's great. I'll watch it when I find time in between, like, mowing the lawn, taking care of my kids, folding laundry, and, 18 other things."
Hmm.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's a luxury good. It's like, do you have time to invest in finding alternatives?
Right. Right.
Yeah. Anyway, that's my aside with these movies.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna be like this with all of them. So
Oh,
that's
yeah. That's
that's
why we're
my
doing this podcast.
okay.
I don't wanna
Yeah.
justify, like, "I like these movies." Like,
Yeah, I
that's
don't
not what
wanna
this
do that.
podcast is about.
I don't wanna do it either.
Just that everybody does.
Yeah, like, again, to me, it's looking at these movies is like, I again, like, everybody in the world is watching these things, you know?
Yeah. Mhm.
I mean, they're global entertainment. So weird. And yeah, so alright, and so next, what do we got I guess that's Iron Man 2. We good with that one?
I think we're good. What are
Okay.
we what are we watching next, Peter?
Yeah, we got I had the list up. So that was 2010. Brr, 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 brr.
Is it Captain America?
It might be Captain America. Here we go. Thor is next.
Thor. Okay.
May 6th, 2011. So we leave the 2010s, and at this point we are deep into a Obama presidency also.
Good point. Good point.
Yeah. So, yep. So yeah, 2011 Thor, directed by Kenneth Branagh. And yeah, at the end of Iron Man 2, they tease the teaser is um the shield guy finds the hammer.
Oh, right, right. Yep. Thor.
That guy's really likable. That dude.
Yeah.
Super
Agent
likable.
Coulson?
Coulson, yeah.
Coulson.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well,
All right. Good talk.
good talking. See y'all later.
Bye.
Bye.